Hi, everybody. My name is Krista Bordelon, and I am about to share with you my universal design in digital innovation. Let me go ahead and share my screen. So, thank you so much for being here. My name is Krista, and I've spent years working in advocacy, community projects, and innovation and community building. So, I've definitely seen the pattern of innovation leaving out communities just like ours. So that's why I'm here, not to present something done to you, but to work with you and see how we can flip this script together. And that is how my intervention, the Digital Universal Design Capacity Building Framework, or DUDCF, I know it's a mouthful. I'll talk about it in just a minute, how this works and why it's so necessary. But what is universal design? Universal design, or UD, is the practice of designing products, environments, and technologies so that they're usable by all people to the greatest extent possible without the need for adaptation or special accommodations that are done after. Basically, universal design means building technology and systems that work for everyone, people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds, right from the start, instead of trying to fix those barriers later. Examples of UD that began as accommodations that are now universal design used by everyone include curb cuts and ramps, automatic doors, levered door handle styles, closed captions, screen readers and alt texts, voice assistants like Alexa, Siri, Google, Zoom live transcriptions, simple high contrast layouts, good grips kitchen tools, electric toothbrushes, text messaging. So you can see that universal design isn't just about disability. It's about building things that makes life easier for everyone. And that's the power of designing for the margins. It ends up helping the majority. So this is why I'm here with you today. I'm going to model how these types of community dialogues and trainings will go. And this is what I've learned from past projects where I've seen just how often people get left behind. I was the managing director of an advocacy organization for 5 years. So I saw how grassroots innovation can mobilize limited resources to create big impact. And it taught me the power of capacity building before solutions are scaled, not adding inclusions after. With my Wells Fargo assist pitch, which won the Wells Fargo competition, I reimagined financial services with features like confidence credits and universal design branches that showed just how easily and quickly systems can be rebuilt around equity rather than exclusion, and how it leads to better results for both community and business. With my pitch for Kiehl's and L'Oreal with Apothecary 1851, I explored how innovation can merge storytelling, sustainability, and accessibility, demonstrating that inclusion belongs at the center of absolutely everything, even legacy beauty brands. So, this all showed me the common thread. Innovation overlooks equitable foundations or sometimes purposefully promotes inequality in communities. And that's what led me to focus on the problem I'm addressing today: the underutilization of universal design in digital innovation. And this training is about changing that together. This is not just my goal, it is our shared commitment as a community. Our goal is simple: a world where digital tools are built for all of us from the very beginning, not as an afterthought, not as a later fix, but as the foundation. Whether you're a parent, elder, a student, or worker, everyone should have equal access to the tools that shape our future. And these trainings are about how we can start building that reality together. Because when some are left out, we all lose. When all are included, we all thrive. It's not just a statement, it's a call to action. In these trainings, we will start building the tools that shape our world. We will start gaining capacity and making readiness for the universal design so that it is a lived reality in our schools, our nonprofits, and our neighborhoods. But what is the problem? Universal design is still underutilized in digital innovation and still treated as compliance instead of a foundation. Who is affected? Yeah, people with disabilities, older adults, low literacy non English speakers, and rural and low income communities are mostly impacted. But what does that mean for everyone? What is this intervention? What is DUDCF, Digital Universal Design Capacity Building Framework? And how does this flip the traditional model by building capacity first? This approach is new. What makes it different, though? It puts readiness and dialogue at the center, and it integrates both community and policy innovation. From there, I'll walk through a 6-month roadmap with the concrete steps from audits, trainings, co design, and piloting a digital tool in our communities. And finally, I'll close with why this matters. Because universal design is not an accommodation, it is the foundation of digital innovation, and it ensures that the future we build is for everyone. Here's the truth: too often, technology is rolled out without considering our needs. Accessibility is treated as a box to check, not as a starting point. And this means many of us are left struggling to adapt to tools that were never designed with us in mind. We know that this isn't right, and we know that we can do better. Current efforts like the Idea Center or WHO frameworks are important, but they're fragmented and often focused on physical spaces rather than digital systems. So the result is that digital innovation often amplifies existing inequalities instead of removing them. With universal design as the foundation, innovation looks very different. Accessibility is built in from the start, it's not added later. Communities are engaged before technologies launch, using dialogue and co design so their needs shape the tools directly. Efforts are no longer fragmented. They connect digital platforms, institutions, and policy into a full ecosystem. Most importantly, digital tools become amplifiers of inclusion and equity and ensure that everyone has access to the benefits of innovation. Innovation with universal design doesn't ask us to adapt to technology, it builds technology that adapts to us. So think about who struggles the most when digital tools aren't built inclusively. If any of this feels familiar to you, you're not alone. And that's why we're here, to change how innovation is done. But you also might be wondering, if universal design focuses on people who face the steepest barriers, why does this matter to me? What does this mean for everyone? And the answer is simple: when some are treated inequitably, the whole community suffers. Think about all of the designs we talked about in the first slide that were designed for specific groups but end up helping everyone. The same is true for digital innovation. When tools are designed inclusively, they become easier, clearer, and more accessible for all of us. Inequity holds innovation back. Equity lifts everyone up. UD is not charity or compliance, it is a universal benefit. We're calling this the Digital Universal Design Capacity Building Framework, but really it's just about one simple idea: capacity first and technology second. Before rolling out new tools, we will build readiness together. That means that our voices guide the design and our communities shape the solutions. It is not a top down fix, it is a partnership. Here's how this framework actually works in practice. We start by listening, bringing in community voices before any technology is built. Next, we build readiness through training and dialogue so that institutions, schools, and nonprofits are prepared. Then we co design digital tools with you, not for you. And finally, we tie it into policy and practice so that these changes last beyond a single pilot. This process ensures technology adapts to people, not the other way around. What's new here is the order. Usually we see technology first and training comes later. With this approach, we start with us, with dialogue, readiness, capacity. Then we build tools that reflect our needs. It's not about compliance, it's about equity. It's not about isolated pilots, it's about consistent, lasting change. Instead of treating accessibility like a box to check, this plan treats it as the foundation, meaning that our voices are not an afterthought. It is the starting point. What makes this intervention different is how it reframes innovation entirely. It starts with capacity before technology, so readiness, not rollout, drives success. It is dialogue centered, meaning that people who are often left out of the design process, like me, like you, like most of us, actually become the shapers of innovation. And unlike isolated pilots, it integrates policy with community practice to create systemic change. This flips the usual order of digital innovation and reimagines inclusion as the starting point, not an add on afterwards. Within the first 6 months, how will this work? Step one, identify and audit our communities. Right here is where we do the most work, figuring out exactly what needs to be done, how our communities are impacted. Step two is listening to the communities, holding dialogue sessions, build the trainings. Step three, co design and pilot a digital tool together. And then in step four, we'll measure the impact, not just with numbers, but with your feedback. This isn't being done to you, it's being built by you, with you, and for you. These four steps create a foundation of readiness before scaling further. Capacity first, technology second, and accountability always. At the end of the day, innovation without equity leads to exclusion. But with universal design, we can build the tools that amplify inclusion instead of inequality. And the future we build together will be one where digital innovation truly serves everyone. That's why your role here matters so much. This isn't just my project, it's ours. As we close, I want everyone to think of one time when technology didn't work for you. Maybe it was a website you couldn't access, a form you couldn't read, or an app that was too confusing. What was that experience like? Now imagine that experience wasn't occasional, but daily. That's the reality for millions of people, and that's why we're here. When technology leaves people out every single day, it doesn't just frustrate individuals, it limits entire communities. Jobs, healthcare, education, even staying connected with family can all be affected. And that's why universal design matters. It makes sure technology is built to include everyone from the start, so no one is left behind. And I hope that I've been able to show you how we can all work together to make that happen and why this is important for all of us. Over several sessions, we would co design what this looks like in our communities, building innovation just for us. Thank you.